Dan kita teruskan Niaga AWANI dengan perbincangan berkenaan dengan kesan pelan rangsangan Amerika ke atas pemulihan ekonomi terbesar dunia itu dan kesannya kepada ekonomi global bersama dengan Shan, Ketua Pakar Ekonomi Juwai-IQI. Shan, the $1.9 trillion stimulus approved by the Congress. Do you think the US economy will be the greatest turnaround in the growth outlook? This is the sixth stimulus package amounting to total of about $6 trillion US dollar.
Rizal, I think I doubt, because most of the people who are getting this money, they are paying off the debt. So when consumers are actually paying off the debt, they are deleveraging the economy, and they're not contributing to a single cent to the economy. So I think moving forward, we are heading for subpar growth, and it will take a very long time for US economy to recover. As I shared in your previous interview, US economy will not come back before 2024. So I think it's a long shot. I don't think the recovery will happen at a very fast pace in US.
But surely this will support the recovery in the US to a certain extent.
Short-term tactical move, yes, but long run, this is not sustainable.
And Shan, both Powell and Janet Yellen are saying that interest rates will not be raised before 2023. Do you think with the stimulus package, inflation will increase, and this would perhaps hasten the rise of interest rates by the Fed?
Fed has been behind the curve most of the time since 2013, and both Powell and Janet Yellen are in the habit of sending wrong signals to the market. Inflation is already showing its head. It's above 2.5%. And what many analysts and experts in the US are saying, they will allow inflation to go up by 3.5%. And after that, they're going to increase interest rate. And I doubt they're going to increase interest rate by 2023, because once the inflation starts galloping, they will panic and they will increase interest rate by Q4 21 or maybe by Q1 2022. This will create panic in the market, and then once the panic happens, that's where Fed will be panicking, and it will create ripples in the market. So I think most of the time in the last 12 years, I have been observing Fed has been behind the curve. They don't have policy instrument to spur growth. So Fed is a red flag for the global economy.
And do you think with the increased vaccination in the US, the inflation rate will perhaps increase a bit faster than expected?
Absolutely, Rizal, with the amount of money that they have printed. And it is not the printing money, it's the velocity of money. How many times the money has changed hands, that causes inflation. So I think that is happening at a very fast pace. As you rightly said, this is a sixth stimulus package that has been given to the economy. That clearly indicates the economy does not have the strength to move alone on its own. So the economy needs a lot of support from the government. And in a free market, you don't need government support. So I think it's a long shot. US economy won't be able to recover before 24 or even 25.
And Warren Buffett said that the debt market is the worst place to be in for investors, and the 10-year Treasury bills spiked from about 1.15% to about 1.50% in the last 24 days. What's your view on that?
Absolutely. That is one of my favorite asset classes, the debt market. And Warren Buffett is a very sagacious person. He has already indicated to the market in the last 24 months, the gentleman has been sitting on cash. And as of now, when I'm talking to you, Warren Buffett is sitting on $140 billion in cash. So once interest rates will go up, it will have a ripple effect on especially on the debt market. So Warren Buffett is absolutely right. If you are in the debt market, that is the wrong place, because that's where investors will suffer a lot. So I totally agree what Warren Buffett has said.
Tell us more about modern monetary theory entering the market with budget deficit at 6 trillion and the USA debt to GDP ratio touching about 135%. What does this mean for the US? Are they joining the league of other failed economies before this, including Greece, perhaps Italy, Lebanon? Will the flow of huge amount of money work for the US economy? Will people on the main street benefit at the end of the day?
Rizal, I'm not a big fan of modern monetary theory. When I was invited by PNB on 30th October 2019, I said it looks very good on paper that you can borrow and you can spend as much as you can. You monetize the debt and put it on the balance sheet. It's a pure, it looks good on the academic paper, but practically speaking, it has got its own repercussions. MMT is not going to solve the problem. There's nothing wrong with bringing MMT to the market. There is no legal problem. There is no accounting problem. The problem comes when you have the confidence boundary. US dollar is already losing its strength. So once US dollar is losing confidence from global investors, that's where the problem starts. So it looks very fancy. Biden administration will have MMT in the market, but this is not going to solve the problem of American economy. The biggest challenge for American economy right now is productivity. And the second challenge is how to cope with COVID. There have been poor policy response in US. So I'm not a big fan of MMT. This is going to create havoc for the US economy, and the debt of US economy will continue to have an upsurge. And the point is, at what cost? Every policy instrument that you undertake for the economy has got its economic cost. MMT has got a huge economic cost. It has got more economic cost as compared to QE. QE has not even worked for US economy in the last 12 years. MMT is not going to work for the US economy. I'm not a big fan.
And Shan, before we perhaps end the interview, let's talk about the Chinese economy, because I think yesterday the Prime Minister of China, Li Keqiang, said that China will go ahead with the dual circulation system, and I think you've mentioned it a few times, and China will increase import into China and will not forgo export, but will concentrate on the domestic market and increasing consumption. Tell us more about that, and will that perhaps make China's recovery much stronger than other countries around the globe?
Absolutely, Rizal. We have been sharing this with the market since August in your program, that China is following dual circulation strategy. The first country that came out very strongly since last year, it was only China in May. And if you pick up yesterday's Economist magazine report, China's automobile numbers, it has gone up by 365%, 1.4 million cars. And this is the 11th straight month that car sale is on the upsurge. And with electric vehicles, the upsurge is 585%. So the Chinese economy is moving at a very fast pace. China, people are talking about China has become the largest economy by 2028. That is a long shot. I foresee Chinese economy becoming the largest economy in the world by 2025, leaving US in the second place because of one reason. They have macroeconomic stability. They have strong consumer demand. People have got rising income. That's where China has got a huge competitive advantage. And at Juwai-IQI, we have already shared for this year, China's GDP will meandering around 7 to 8%. So aligning with China is very important. You know, countries like Europe are willing to join CPEC and BRI. That clearly demonstrates the importance of China, not only locally, but also in the global sphere.
On that note, thank you very much, Shan, Ketua Pakar Ekonomi Juwai-IQI, membincangkan berkenaan dengan pelan rangsangan atau pakej rangsangan Amerika Syarikat dan juga sedikit berkenaan dengan dual circulation system yang dinyatakan oleh Perdana Menteri China ataupun China Li Keqiang. Kita teruskan dengan laporan seterusnya. Persetujuan untuk membenarkan pergerakan rakyat Malaysia ke Singapura haruslah dicapai kedua-dua kerajaan berdasarkan faktor tertentu. Menurut Pengarah Urusan Lembaga Pelancongan Singapura STB bagi Asia Tenggara, John Gregory Conceição, antara faktor ataupun faktor yang perlu dipersetujui ialah tahap keberjayaan kedua-dua kerajaan kawal COVID-19 di negara masing-masing. Selain itu, perlu juga ada persetujuan protokol atau SOP yang perlu dipatuhi seperti ujian PCR, tempoh bilangan hari yang dibenarkan untuk pelawat serta keperluan tempoh kuarantin.
Both countries have to be comfortable with allowing residents from each of their countries to travel again, right? That would be dependent again on how each of our countries manage to control the situation, the COVID situation in our countries. right? Then there will also be agreements on testing. So, for example, right, if a Malaysian resident visited Singapore, or if a Singaporean resident visits Malaysia, there must be a certain protocol that both countries have to agree on, right? For example, a PCR test. A number of days that they are allowed to stay in the country, and then what happens when they return? Should they do a quarantine? Should they do another PCR test?
Jelas beliau lagi, kesemua ini hanya boleh dipersetujui di peringkat bilateral atau perbincangan dua hala antara kerajaan negara yang terlibat. Konsen Chow berkata demikian ketika ditanya mengenai faktor yang menjadi pertimbangan Singapura untuk membenarkan semula kemasukan rakyat Malaysia ke pulau itu. Terdahulu, beberapa wakil media dan pempengaruh media sosial telah dijemput menyertai sesi Zoom anjuran Lembaga Pelancongan Singapura bagi mengetahui inisiatif yang dijalankan di negara itu untuk menyemarakkan semula sektor pelancongan selepas terjejas akibat COVID-19. Konsen Chow berkata STB berharap agar rakyat Malaysia dan pelancong luar yang dapat kembali melancong ke Singapura dapat mengalami pengalaman yang berlainan melalui kempen Travel Reimagine a Singapore Perspective.
I think people are going to look forward to revisiting these destinations, but looking for new things in the destinations, right? They are going to travel to these destinations and look for an in-depth offerings in these destination and exciting things. So you will see that in the past year, right, we've been pushing out a lot of content about Singapore, new things, right? New things to expect in Singapore. We've done the virtual Singapore Food Festival. We've done the weekend show, Secret Places in Exciting Singapore, Hello from Singapore. All these are new things that we're trying to introduce to Malaysians. If you ask me why are we doing all these things, is because we want Malaysians to reimagine Singapore.
Dan Pulau Pinang menjadi destinasi pilihan rakyat Malaysia bagi pelancongan domestik pasca COVID-19 menurut pengurus besar Airbnb bagi Asia Tenggara, India, Hong Kong dan Taiwan, Amanpreet Bajaj. Satu kajian telah dijalankan oleh Airbnb menerusi firma analitik YouGov untuk mengenal pasti trend perjalanan rakyat Malaysia setelah tempoh sekatan ditamatkan kelab.
Familiar, family-friendly destinations continue to be top of Malaysians' bucket list for 2021 travel, with Penang emerging as the respondents' most popular go-to destination. While these top 5 are no surprise for anyone looking at tourism trends within Malaysia, but these popular tourist destinations have been especially hard hit by the restrictions on the travel, as well as if I look up Sabah with the recent floods and the crisis. It's really heartening to know that Malaysians are keen to visit these destinations once again when it is safe to go and when travel is allowed. And I think this will bring much needed tourism revenue to local communities and businesses and spur economic activity back again.
Selain Pulau Pinang, Sabah, Kuala Lumpur, Terengganu dan Johor turut menduduki tangga 5 ke atas pilihan rakyat Malaysia untuk pelancongan domestik. Dalam pada itu, kata Amanpreet, kajian turut mendapati rakyat Malaysia mengambil kira faktor keselamatan dan mengutamakan perjalanan bertemu dengan keluarga apabila tempoh sekatan ditamatkan satu masa kelak.
When travel resumes in 2021, it's no longer going to be about where the adventures are going to be. But I think it's going to be more about who they are spent with. During the pandemic, like all of us have, Malaysians across the country have nurtured deeper connections they have built with their loved ones during the time they spent at home. And now, their ideal travel is a safe getaway from home, where they can create more meaningful family moments together.
Dapatan kajian menunjukkan 68% responden memilih untuk bertemu dengan keluarga, diikuti rakan 43%. Untuk keluarga besar pula 30%, komuniti 11% dan komuniti antarabangsa 10%.
Penguatkuasaan terhadap aktiviti cetak rompak perlu diubah seiring perkembangan teknologi semasa yang semakin meningkat menurut penerbit, pengarah dan juga aktivis Law Ngan Yuen. Cabaran yang berdepan pengkarya seni pada zaman teknologi canggih ketika ini memerlukan gerak kerja penguatkuasaan yang berkesan.
Semestinya ramai yang mengatakan di antara undang-undang, kalau ada undang-undang tapi tak ada penguatkuasaan, then what is the point of the undang-undang? Tapi penguatkuasaan, as we all know, this is called pirates kan. Mereka adalah dipanggil lanun. Kalau ada lanun, dia bukan terpampang secara siang-siang for us to go and catch them. Ini bukan sesuatu yang senang. So I understand from the penguatkuasaan. Tapi saya juga merasakan yang dari segi sudut penguatkuasaan juga, mereka sebenarnya dah boleh mula guna teknologi yang berlainan untuk mengatasi masalah yang mereka tidak dapat pergi merata tempat to stop things, you know.
Jelasnya, para penggiat industri bersama kerajaan dan agensi berkaitan boleh mempergiat lagi usaha dalam memastikan kandungan yang disiarkan melalui perkhidmatan media penstreaman atau OTT dapat diakses dengan baik serta caj yang berbaloi.
Selain daripada itu, the amount of money bayaran kita untuk OTT dah semakin murah, katakan lebih kurang RM29, RM35, RM55 dah boleh 5 skrin dah. So maknanya dah tak ada sebab kenapa orang nak susah payah untuk pergi melanun, untuk melayari ataupun pergi klik sini, klik situ untuk enjoy something that is pirated, you know. So this is something that we actually need to do. We need to make sure that the para penonton tidak perlu lagi bersusah payah untuk menonton sesuatu.
Justru beliau berpandangan pentingnya pendidikan sivik dalam kalangan pengguna sendiri dalam memastikan setiap kandungan yang diakses adalah secara sah.
Dan sekian Niaga Awani, ikuti info terkini berhubung vaksin COVID-19 di halaman mikro interaktif di astroawani.com sekarang dan segala maklumat lain dalam astroawani.com, juga aplikasi Astro Awani. Terima kasih kerana menonton saluran berita paling dipercayai di Malaysia. Saya Rizal Zulkapli. Salam hormat.